Okay, BYU game, obviously, we're disappointed. Everybody that's an Aggie is disappointed, and a tough football game. BYU played well, and they deserved to win the football game. It came down to a lot of the same things I thought at the end of the game. The turnovers were huge, and missed tackles were a big part of it. A mobile quarterback gave us problems, which was an issue at times. BYU made some big plays on the offensive side of the ball, and if we can again convert in the red zone, we get an opportunity, and just ball up a little bit on defense in the red zone. It's a different score. See if the outcome would have been different, but the score could have been different. But it was not. So we have to buckle up, dive in, and keep on grinding and keep on fighting. I know these kids will do that. They'll come back. They've already come back this morning. They'll come back this afternoon and get themselves prepared for another tough game against Fresno. Fresno State is an athletic team, as always. They've had some solid games as they've gone through the year, obviously, and have continued to battle just like we're continuing to battle through the year. We're in very similar spots, and they're last year's champions, and so they have a good football team, and they understand how to be able to win football games. We've got to get on an airplane and fly over there and play them in that spot over in Fresno on their home court. So that's a great opportunity, and we look forward to getting back to work here in the next couple hours. And we got 4 of those left, and that are all guaranteed. And we'll see what we can get done to make that move on to another one as we go through time. But we're in the fight, we're in the race, and our kids, I know they'll be excited to come back and battle, which they will.
Isn't it hard because of the way we all take a BYU game to not forget that? I mean, this is conference. It's more. I mean, in essence, maybe it's more important to something you're trying to do. I mean, that's hard to say.
Yeah. The BYU game has obviously great importance. You grow up in a rivalry, and whatever side you're on it's huge, and to lose it stings. It hurts a lot, and you gotta sit and you gotta stare at that empty spot where the wagon wheel is supposed to be for a whole year, and that's sports. That's what we signed up for, and is that the way we want it to be? Absolutely not. So we'll you have to be able to again move on and get to the next game, but it stings. It stings bad. That's a tough deal. There's always a little bit more that goes into a rivalry game, and I think anybody that says that there's not, then you either need to understand that it is a little bit more important, or your feelings are wrong. I guess one of the two. But to get back to where we are, we're 3-1 in conference, and we're battling ourselves to be in a position. We got to go on the road and play well, which we've done in the past. We've beat some, very, very good San Diego State team on the road, and they've proved to be that as they've moved through the year. So opportunities will be there. The Aggies need to continue to work to grow and develop, and there was some good signs in that game, and there was some signs that weren't good. So we'll look to address them all and work to get better.
With the poor tackling the past 2 weeks, what can you guys do as a coaching staff to improve that? I know that there's not a ton you can do in practice from a week leading into another game.
Well, I think that there's a lot of things that you can actually do. There's opportunities to leverage the ball a little bit differently with the other defenders that are on the field. I always think it's important to look at the whole field and what's getting you into those one-on-one tackling scenarios, those one-on-one tackling situations. You always want to try to make it be as a condensed field as you can with the other defenders on how they're leveraging and how they're moving themselves back into the field on the defensive side. And at times that can improve. You can improve angles, even if you're not really physical in your tackling and you're, getting guys down to the ground, and that's a big part of it, obviously. But there's more to it. There's the point to where the tackle takes place that I think you can strive to improve on as you work through practice, and then there's times when you need to, actually lay your hands on people and wrap them up, and sometimes to the ground, and sometimes. Just to get into the position to physically be able to take them to the ground. So there's things we can work on. It's disappointing, and we need to, bottom line, we need to coach it better. That's always been my philosophy. When something's not good, we need to look at it and take responsibility, and the kids will too, and we'll make sure they do. We'll work on it.
Is that the biggest thing you see defensively then, Jerry, the last 2 weeks, really?
Oh, yeah, it's
I mean, you can't be happy with anything.
No. There's a lot that goes into that, and I think it'd be a cop out sitting here in any way, shape, or form as a coach to just sit there and say, oh well, if the kids tackle better, our scheme's perfect, we're great coaches, and we just got to tackle better. That's not the case. We can work to tweak the schemes and help the kids get where they need to be and have a better understanding. There's no real reason to sit back and when you're in a struggling time and you're dealing with adversity, if you've done this long enough, which, obviously I have, there's going to be times when it's really good and you can sit up here and pound your back and say, I'm great. There's times when you can sit up here and say, I'm not great, and that's just not my style. My style is to look back and say, hey, we'll work to get the kids better in bad, and when it's good, it's all the kids. So, but we can help them. I think that's the key thing, is to help them and make sure it's crystal clear in their minds and it's clean and they can play fast and precise. And just because it looks good on the board all the time, it doesn't always look good out there on the field. And so we'll work to do that. Last week our goal was to play, fast, physical, and smart. We need to be more physical, and we need to put the kids in a position to be more physical also. I think we can help them do that.
Not having your leading tackler has to also
Not having David is a huge blow for every Aggie at every level. It is what it is, but it's hardest for him. Trust me, it's the hardest for the kid. He'll go through it, but it's a devastating blow to a young man to be in that spot. And as a player, I had 2 half a seasons taken away from me, and it's tough. So the key is to help him, and then help the young guys that are playing. We need to continually help Elijah and help AJ get better and work out there as a unit, and make sure that Kevin doesn't feel like he has to just take care of a freshman all the time and get him lined up so that Kevin doesn't do his job as well as he can do his job. So it's a big blow. Our kids you need to pick it up where it is and go from there. I think I said it earlier today on an interview. I think we lost David now, and I don't think it's fair to Fua if we just forget about Fua, because he wasn't there the first game of the year. So if we're talking about guys who've been gone for the year that are great players, Fua has to be mentioned in that spot also. Not as an excuse because we lost him. That's where we're at and the way we're playing. But I think it's in fairness to Fua to recognize him as a great player that was with us and is no longer with us as David is now.
Coach, the Fresno offense has been pretty balanced the last 2 years. Are they balanced this year in regards of the ratio of pass and run, or is it more heavier on the other side? What have you seen other offense?
On tape, it's very, it's balanced. It's a good attack. He's a heck of a coach. He does a great job of, coordinating the defense and running a football team, and has had a lot of years' experience doing it. So they want to be balanced. They want to be, cause you some issues with formations and different scenarios, what every good offensive coordinator does, and they have their plan. And they've done a good job with that for years. From what I can see, I haven't watched a bunch of years in the past lately, but I've watched enough to go back over the summer to see that they want to physically run the football, and they want to stretch the edges of the defense and make sure that they force you to hone in on the fly sweep and some different things that come with it, and then they throw the ball vertically. So they do a good job of using the whole football field, which a good offense does.
Their quarterback was mobile last week. You talked about handling a mobile quarterback. He had a really good running game against Hawaii.
Yeah. He's a mobile guy. He can get out. He's very smart. Say much like the 2 young men we faced last week. They're savvy, smart football players. They make good decisions. They're not going to cost their team. And when he has an opportunity to run, he'll go out and run. And he's been a very good quarterback for the scheme that they're asking them to play, and I think he plays right within the skill set of what Coach Tedford or what his offensive coaches expect.
Let's see, the receivers, Pope is one, and then the running back, Rivers, and the quarterback are kind of their offensive guys.
I don't know if I'd say that. I think there's some tight ends that are really talented, that have done some good things for them, and they roll a bunch of guys through there. But yes, those kids you mentioned are very good players, and they've been highlighted through their stats. But there's a bunch of guys that come in that make plays for them, and vertical stretch wide receivers are a huge concern. They got speed, they got quickness. I think the quarterback throws a very good deep ball, and that's shown up on tape virtually every week, and they're going to make you defend it. They're going to throw up some 50-50 balls, and they've got a bunch of PIs that have gone along with those 50-50 balls as they've gone through time, and so there's playmakers on that offensive side of the football without a question.
And then defensively, it's kind of like they're balanced too. They kind of really haven't been great defensively, but they must have made stands when they had to.
Yeah, and they're again, athletic, talented group that I think is well coached and sound. They do a nice job. They replaced a bunch of guys from a year ago, and they seem to be battling and fighting their tails off every single week. Yes, and the most noticeable thing to me is scheme-wise is to sit back and they're sound. They play hard. They're a group that's gonna if you've got to earn your way, and that's what a quality defense does, is give you an opportunity to, if you have a chance to make a play, and then they haven't been giving up a bunch. They haven't been a team that's just given up huge amounts of big plays, which it's they're a good football team. So we're going into playing a good football team, and we'll do that next week and the next week, and away we go in the next one. So it's a good team.
This was a team when you were here before, you had a hard time. You had some close games with them a couple of times there, but couldn't get over the hump when you were here the first time out there.
Yep. Yeah. Fresno's always been. It was. They're going to be who they are. You get an identity of a team and what their position is, and physical, tough, athletic, and I think they're very, very well coached. And you don't win a championship a year ago and be where they were and not be have a great group of kids that are very talented and have good coaches.